Honourable Anne Tolley.
And tired of being lectured in this House by that member who makes things up, who has no facts to back up what she says and accuses our Prime Minister of being mean. In fact, Mr Speaker, the country went to the polls last year and gave National huge support, an enormous mandate to keep on with the reforms and expand the reforms that they were in the process of making to all New Zealand families. And the reality of that is that New Zealanders understand this is a Prime Minister who cares about New Zealand families. This is a government that has done a great deal for New Zealand families, not the least bit making sure that there is a strong, growing economy that is providing more jobs for people, and we're seeing more people in work now than we've ever seen before. But let's talk about this issue of food in schools, and let's look at the accusations that this government, led by John Key, is mean. Because the reality is, currently, this government is funding fruit in schools. We expanded the program that the Labor government had put in, where half of it was spent on administration. We've expanded that so there is fruit going in to every single school, and vegetables, I have to say, throughout the country. Fonterra is providing milk to schools, and fridges to put the milk in, so there is fruit and milk in schools. This government is working with a program called Kickstart Breakfast, which is working with Sanitarium and Fonterra. And just last month, we delivered 3,400,000 breakfast. So throughout school, every school in the country is able to take part in that, and the Prime Minister is absolutely right. Just under 800 schools are taking part in providing that breakfast. And that is being funded by this government along with other companies. KidsCan are also providing food support to school. And it's really interesting because in the talk that they had with me, they said, we are providing lunches to about 300 odd schools, but we do it in a discreet manner. We don't want those children to be stigmatised. We just make sure that the schools can deliver that. So up comes a politician who's making a political point with photos, media, and there we are, we have those children stigmatised, which is totally against the respect that KidsCan was showing those children. KidsCan's also been funding raincoats, and the government has funded that with $500,000. And they're also funding knits. We put $900,000 into knits because that was recognised as a problem. Now, I just want to share with the House, when we're considering, as part of this government's program, reform of the RMA, because this government put $900,000 into relieving children of knits. Part of that was providing specifically designed hand basins to wash the children's hair at school. It was a fantastic idea and schools were delighted. Let me tell you, in the 17 Hawke's Bay schools, it took 6 months to get a resource consent through to install those hand basins. 6 months in Hawke's Bay schools, 17 schools waited while that resource management consent went through their local councils. That is ridiculous. Hastings and Napier, those members that represent those areas should be banging on those councils' doors. 6 months to get resource consents to put hand basins in so that the KidsCan could roll out the knit program. And as they've done that, of course, we have seen huge response to that, and it's made a huge difference to the lives of those children. They have discovered all sorts of skin diseases as a result of that, and there's nurses working with them, and it's a very good program. So the point is that this government is providing enormous help to those families, and for that member to stand in this House and accuse our Prime Minister of being mean and only supporting kids because for a political purpose, I think is outrageous, because he's shown enormous leadership on this and made sure that the government is stepping in to help hundreds of thousands of New Zealand children throughout schools. None of that takes away from the responsibility of parents. And we know that because the economy is growing, that the average wage is growing. And the Finance Minister said that in the House today. Average wage is growing faster than inflation, so families should be taking care of children. That's their first responsibility, but where they can't, this government's stepping in to help.